Imagine a world where the toys you built as a child could talk to the machines you build today, where a brick from one manufacturer fits perfectly with a connector from another, regardless of the decade or the brand. This is the promise of the free universal construction kit. It is described as a physical open-source system designed to unify disparate toy construction sets into a single interoperable ecosystem. The idea is seductive. It suggests a future where fragmentation is solved by additive manufacturing and decentralized design files, but promises are easy to make on paper. The real test happens when you take the design out of the digital realm and try to build something that survives the physical world. To understand the stakes, you have to look at the theoretical foundation. The concept draws from distributed computing and mathematical category theory. In computer science, universal construction usually refers to weight-free algorithms that allow systems to coordinate without a central bottleneck. The mathematical side introduces monoidal categories to generalize topological theories. The free universal construction kit attempts to bridge these abstract proofs into tangible hardware. It proposes that if you can standardize the interface, you can standardize the interaction. The design files are openly available. Anyone can print them. This bypasses proprietary manufacturing models. But when you move from code to plastic, new variables emerge that no algorithm can fully predict. Consider the promise of interoperability. The kit is designed to allow users to mix components from different brands without adapters. This requires a tolerance level that is incredibly difficult to maintain across different printers and materials. When you print a part, the temperature of the room, the humidity, and the wear on the nozzle all affect the final dimensions. A tolerance of 1 millimeter might work in a simulation. In the real world, that millimeter becomes a gap that allows dust to enter or a friction point that prevents movement. The theory assumes perfect information exchange between nodes. The physical world assumes friction, gravity, and entropy. This brings us to the first major stress test: uneven terrain. A universal construction system is often envisioned for educational robotics or modular infrastructure. If you deploy these units on a flat surface, they behave as expected. But what happens when the ground shifts? The kit relies on rigid connections to maintain structural integrity. If you place a structure on uneven ground, the stress concentrates at the joints. Unlike traditional construction sets that use flexible joints to absorb shock, this system aims for rigidity to ensure the universal interface remains aligned. When the terrain moves, the structure fights back. The result is often a failure at the connector point. The plastic fractures, or the alignment shifts so far that the universal key no longer engages. You end up with a structure that is stable in a vacuum but brittle in a real environment. Now consider the second failure mode: debris and wear. The beauty of a universal connector is that it is accessible. You can plug in a module from anywhere. But accessibility is also a vulnerability. Every time you connect a piece, you introduce microscopic wear to the contact surfaces. In a distributed system, this is like data corruption over time. In a physical system, it is mechanical degradation. Dust, sand, and small debris find their way into the connection points. Once debris enters the interface, it acts as an abrasive. Over time, the precision that allowed the parts to fit perfectly is eroded. The connector becomes loose. The universal lock fails. This is a problem that tutorials on the project often ignore because they demonstrate the assembly on a clean workbench. They do not demonstrate the assembly after a week of operation in a dusty environment. The wear rate is not linear. It accelerates once the tolerance is breached. Then there is the third constraint: power and heat. Many applications of this kit involve active components. Motors, sensors, and processing units need to be integrated into the structure. This introduces power constraints. If the kit is truly universal, the power delivery system must also be standardized. But different modules draw different amounts of current. If you plug a high-draw motor into a connector designed for a low-draw sensor, you risk overheating the joint. The electrical connection heats up, the plastic expands, and the mechanical connection loosens. This creates a feedback loop where heat causes mechanical failure, which causes more resistance, which causes more heat. The system does not have a safety valve built into the universal interface. It relies on the user to calculate the load. In a distributed community where anyone can design a module, the risk of incompatible power loads is high. This leads to a critical realization about the project. The design files are freely available, but the environmental constraints are not. You can download the blueprint for a connector, but you cannot download the knowledge of how that connector will degrade under specific thermal loads. The theoretical framework assumes that the physical medium will remain constant. It treats the material properties as variables that can be calculated, not as realities that change. This is where the forensic stress test reveals the gap between the digital promise and the physical reality. The kit works as a concept. It works as a proof of principle for open-source hardware standardization. But as a deployed tool for real-world robotics or infrastructure, it faces significant friction. The future of this technology suggests a shift towards user-generated hardware standards. Communities can design and print their own connectors. This is a powerful idea. It democratizes manufacturing. But it also decentralizes quality control. Without a central authority enforcing the tolerances and material standards, the ecosystem risks becoming fragmented in a different way. Instead of proprietary incompatibility, you might get community incompatibility. You might have a connector that works with one version of the kit but fails with another due to printer variants. Thanks for watching all the way to the end. I am a one-person team working hard to make each video better than the last. Subscribe if you found value. It is the best way to show support. Drop a comment with your biggest takeaway. See you in the next video.